My parents spent 30 years telling me my sister was one in a million. It turns out they were right, just not in the way they thought. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 33, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I have spent my entire life being compared to my perfect older sister, Vanessa. Vanessa, the straight-A golden child. Vanessa, the homecoming queen. Vanessa, the one who married well. And me? I was the steady one, the practical one, the you'll be fine, Emily one. Translation: the backup plan. This is the story of how my sister's perfect image shattered in a scandal involving a married millionaire, frozen bank accounts, and a local news expose, and how my family suddenly remembered I existed. It's also the story of how I finally refused to be their life raft and chose myself instead. 1. Opening. The day the group chat blew up. The day my family remembered I existed, my phone nearly vibrated off my desk. I was in the break room at the nonprofit where I work. Small office outside downtown Columbus. Chipped mugs, burnt coffee, passive-aggressive notes on the fridge. When our family group chat lit up like a slot machine. First it was my mom. Emergency, call now. Then my dad. Can you leave work? It's about your sister. Then a link. I clicked it without thinking, expecting some lifestyle article Vanessa had been featured in. She loved things like that. Women who have it all. Pieces with glossy photos on white couches, perfectly staged coffee tables, and captions about hustle and grace. Instead, I was staring at a local news site with a headline that punched me straight in the gut. Real estate investor Ethan Wallace under investigation for fraud and financial exploitation. Below it was a photo of Ethan, my brother-in-law, in his usual navy suit and power tie, and right next to him, in a tight white dress and a million-watt smile, was my sister, Vanessa. The article used phrases like questionable investment schemes, alleged Ponzi-style payouts, and assets frozen pending investigation. There was also a line I had to read 3 times. Sources confirm Wallace's long-term extramarital relationship with influencer and lifestyle blogger Vanessa Carter, whose luxury spending has been visible on her social media for several years. My stomach dropped. I scrolled down, thumb shaking. Screenshots of Vanessa's Instagram, unboxing videos with designer bags, champagne on private jets, morning routine reels in their marble kitchen. Comments now flooded with things like homewrecker and gold digger. By the time I came up for air, my mom was calling. I answered, heart pounding. Mom? She didn't even say hello. Emily, thank God, she gasped. I could hear TV noise in the background, like the news was turned all the way up. Have you seen what they're saying about your sister? I glanced at the clock on the microwave. 10:17 a.m. My lunch wasn't for 3 more hours. Yeah, I said slowly. I just read it. There's an investigation, Em. They froze his accounts. Everything. Can you come over after work? We need to talk. Your sister needs us. She needs you. There it was. That little shift. She needs you. Not, how are you handling this? Not, I know this is a lot. Straight to business. How I could be useful. I looked down at my badge clipped to my sweater, Emily Carter, case manager, and took a breath. I have clients this afternoon, I said. I can come by after 6. 6? My mom sounded offended, like I'd suggested next month. Emily, your sister's life is falling apart. And my boss won't accept family drama as a reason I skipped a court hearing with a client, I replied. I'll be there at 6. There was a long sigh. Fine, she said. We'll wait, but hurry, okay? You know how fragile Vanessa is. The call ended. I stared at my reflection in the microwave door. For as long as I could remember, there had been 2 versions of every crisis in our house. The Vanessa version and the everyone else version. And somehow, I already knew which one my parents were about to ask me to fix. 2. Context. Growing up in the shadow of St. Vanessa. To understand why that phone call made my blood simmer, you need to understand how I grew up. We were a thoroughly average Midwestern family. Split-level house in a suburb outside Columbus. PTA meetings, Costco runs, Christmas photos in matching sweaters from Target. But inside that house, there was a very clear hierarchy. Vanessa was born 3 years before me, and from the moment she showed up, my parents treated her like a limited edition collectible. She walked early, talked early, read early. My mom kept a box of laminated certificates, Student of the Month, Perfect Attendance, Honor Roll, all with her name on them. Family gatherings felt like award shows where she was the only nominee. She got into AP English as a sophomore, my mom would brag at Thanksgiving. She's first chair violin, my dad would add, carving the turkey a little too proudly. When it came to me, the compliments were different. Emily's our steady Eddie, my dad would say with a chuckle, patting my shoulder. She's not as flashy as Vanessa, but she's solid, my mom would add. It was like I'd been cast as the understudy in a play that never needed me. In high school, it only got worse. Vanessa was homecoming queen, varsity cheer captain, graduating with a 4.2 GPA and a ticket to an East Coast private college with a fancy crest on the brochure. I was fine. Decent grades, part-time job at Panera, theater club tech crew. I got into Ohio State with some merit aid and a mountain of FAFSA forms I filled out myself because my parents were too wrapped up in Vanessa's dorm decor crisis. At family dinners, they'd ask Vanessa about her professors, her internships, her possibilities. Then they'd turn to me, almost as an afterthought. "And you, Emily? How's school?" my mom would ask, already half looking at her phone. I'd say something like, "Good. I think I might double major in psychology." And they'd nod in that polite, distracted way people do when a commercial is playing and they're just waiting for the show to come back. The message was always the same. Vanessa was extraordinary. I was serviceable. When Vanessa graduated, there were balloons, engraved pens, a catered party in the backyard. My parents rented a tent and hired a photographer. When I graduated from Ohio State 2 years later, my parents took me to Olive Garden. My mom forgot to charge her phone, so we have exactly 3 blurry photos from that day. I told myself it didn't matter. I told myself I didn't need the spotlight. I was going to work in mental health, maybe counseling, maybe social work. My dream was to pay my own bills, have a small apartment, a dog, and a 401k. Vanessa's dream was entirely different. She wanted more. More than Ohio, more than 9 to 5, more than basic. She moved to New York after college, got a job in PR, and rebranded herself online as Vanessa Carter, lifestyle blogger and elevated living expert. By 28, she had curated an entire persona: white kitchen, gold hardware, eucalyptus in every photo, morning matcha, girl boss meetings, date nights in the city, and, my parents loved to remind me, she had landed a very important man. And 3, escalation. The perfect sister in you up. I met Ethan for the first time at Christmas 4 years ago. By then, I was working at a community mental health center in Columbus, sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate I found through Facebook, driving a 10-year-old Civic with a cracked windshield. Vanessa flew in from New York, looking like a magazine spread. Camel coat, designer boots, soft waves perfectly curled. Ethan followed behind her, older, polished, the kind of man whose watch probably cost more than my car. "Emily, this is Ethan," Vanessa announced, like she was unveiling a new product. "He's in real estate development." He shook my hand with a firm, practiced grip. Your sister talks about you all the time, he said smoothly. She says you're the smart one. I almost laughed. Smart was not the adjective my family usually used for me. Around the dinner table, my parents were practically levitating from pride. He owns multiple properties, my mom whispered to me in the kitchen while we reheated the green bean casserole. He's so generous, Emily. He flew her here first class. That Christmas set the tone for the next few years. Vanessa and Ethan's life became a kind of traveling show, and my parents were their most loyal fans. First, there was the engagement, a surprise trip to Paris, a video of Ethan proposing in front of the Eiffel Tower, a halo diamond ring that could blind pilots. My mom watched the video on loop at work and showed it to her coworkers. Then there was the wedding, a destination ceremony in Napa, vineyard backdrop, custom neon sign that said The Wallaces in cursive. My parents took out a personal loan so they could contribute appropriately to the bridal shower and rehearsal dinner. I was a bridesmaid, but I might as well have been a prop. Every conversation went like this. Aren't you proud of your sister? Your sister really did well for herself. Maybe you'll meet someone at the wedding, Em. If I dared to mention my own life, my promotion to lead case manager, the fact that I'd finally paid off my high-interest credit card debt, they'd smile vaguely and steer the conversation back to Vanessa's new house, Vanessa's new car, Vanessa's new Instagram collab. My mom framed a photo of Vanessa and Ethan standing in front of their gated community in a suburb outside Cincinnati. It sat on the mantel next to my kindergarten handprint ornament. They're building a life, she would sigh. A real life. The implication was clear. I had a job and a rented apartment. Vanessa had a husband with money and a 5-bedroom house with a media room. Guess which one counted more? Whenever I visited my parents, they'd find ways to compare us. Your sister just redid her kitchen with quartz countertops, my mom would tell me while I helped load the dishwasher. You should see it, Em. So bright and airy. That's nice, I'd say, rinsing plates. And she's talking about pulling back at work a bit to focus on content creation, my mom would continue. Ethan says she doesn't really have to work if she doesn't want to. She'd say, doesn't have to work, like it was the absolute pinnacle of achievement. I'd think about my clients, people juggling 3 jobs, people fighting for disability benefits, and bite my tongue. Anytime I pushed back, even a little, the script was the same. Don't be jealous, Emily. You're just a late bloomer. You're the grounded one. You'll always land on your feet. The grounded one. Translation? The one we call when things go wrong. I just didn't know yet how literal that would become. 4. The crash. Scandal, spin, and suddenly remembering. Emily exists back to the day of the article. I finished my afternoon appointments, forced my professional voice to stay calm through a custody mediation, and drove straight to my parents' house afterward. Their neighborhood hadn't changed much since we were kids. Same cracked basketball hoops, same over-decorated porches at Christmas. But the tension inside our house felt like static. When I walked in, the local news was blaring. Ethan's face was on the screen. Vanessa's Instagram photos blurred in the corner. My mom sat on the couch clutching a tissue, mascara smudged. My dad stood with his hands on his hips, jaw clenched. Vanessa was there too, curled up on the armchair, like a wilted version of herself. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing one of Ethan's oversized sweatshirts. Her phone lay face down on the coffee table, screen lighting up over and over. Em, my mom said, jumping up like I was a paramedic. Thank God you're here. I hung my coat and walked in slowly. What exactly is going on? I asked, even though I'd read the article 3 times. My dad muted the TV. It's blown way out of proportion, he said automatically. We just need a plan. Vanessa sniffed. They're making me look like I knew, she said, voice small, like I was somehow part of it. I just posted what Ethan bought me. I thought he was successful. I thought we were building a brand. My mom rushed to her side. You are successful, sweetheart, she said, rubbing Vanessa's shoulder. They're just jealous. This is all lies. They're trying to tear Ethan down. Mom, the article quotes court documents, I said. Fraud investigations don't just appear out of thin air. Both of them shot me a look, like I'd sworn in church. My dad cleared his throat. Look, he said, switching to the tone he used in job interviews. The details aren't the point. The point is, everything is frozen. Ethan's accounts, the business accounts, their joint savings. He can't access anything while they sort things out. The lawyers are expensive. The house, the cars, the staff. It's all tied to those accounts. He looked at me, hard. And? I asked. And your sister has nothing in her name, my mom blurted out. Everything was in Ethan's LLCs and trusts. She trusted him. I blinked. All those posts about my dream home and my Range Rover, I said slowly. She didn't own any of it? Vanessa glared at me like I'd kicked her. We were building something together, she snapped. Ethan said he was protecting assets. It's not my fault I believed him. My dad stepped between us. Can we not assign blame right now? He said. The internet is doing enough of that. He took a breath, then looked at me the way someone looks at a bank loan officer. Emily, you're stable, he began. You've always been responsible. You have good credit. A 4 under 1K. A savings account. Your student loans are almost paid off. Right? My skin prickled. Why? I asked. My mom squeezed a wad of tissues. We just need some help until this blows over, she said. Vanessa needs a place to stay if they seize the house. She can't go back to New York. The press will hound her. And Ethan has to focus on his legal team. It would be better if she was somewhere safe, with family. My eyes flicked between them. You want her to move in with you, I said. She's your daughter. My dad shook his head, already shaking it before I'd even finished. We only have the one bathroom downstairs, he said. And you know how your mother's back is. The stairs, the stress. It's too much. Besides, the neighborhood gossips. If Vanessa's car is here every day, everyone will know something is wrong. We don't need that kind of talk at church. There it was. Reputation over reality. As always. So what exactly are you asking? I said, my voice getting flatter. My mom stared at me with wet eyes. Could she stay with you? She asked. Just for a while, until things settle. You have that extra room now that your roommate moved in with her boyfriend, right? I did. I turned it into a little home office, finally, after years of sharing space. And, my dad added quickly, like he wanted to bundle all the bad news at once. We were also hoping you might co-sign a small personal loan. Just something to help cover the legal fees and living expenses. You know she can't work right now, not with the media circus. If we take it out, we won't qualify to refinance the house later. But your income is very unreliable. My mom leaned forward. You know we'd help if we could, she said. But you're the one in the best position. You don't have kids. You're not married. You can bounce back. That line, you can bounce back. I stared at them, at Vanessa, at the muted TV where Ethan's mugshot was now on a loop. All those years of being told I was fine, low maintenance, not like your sister who needs more, crashed together in my mind. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. You want me to give up my office, take in the sister who spent the last decade using me as a punchline, and put my credit on the line for a man under federal investigation. Because I am the only one who's been responsible? Don't say it like that, my mom whispered. How else should I say it? I asked. Vanessa scoffed, crossing her arms. Wow, she said. You always had this resentment, didn't you? You hate that I actually got out and made something of myself. This is your chance. Emily, your chance to prove you're not just bitter. Something inside me snapped, quietly, cleanly. I stood up. I have an early meeting, I said. I'm going home. My mom grabbed my wrist. Emily, don't walk away, she pleaded. You're her sister. I looked down at her hand, then back at her face. Exactly, I said. I am her sister, not her safety net. And for the first time in my life, I walked out of that house with my parents calling my name and did not turn back. 5. Decision. The night I drew the line. On the 20-minute drive back to my apartment, my brain did its usual thing, tried to make me the villain. Maybe I was being harsh. Maybe it was my job to help. Maybe this was just what good daughters did. I pulled into my parking lot, turned off the engine, and sat there in the dark, watching the glow from other people's TV screens flicker in the windows. My phone buzzed. Text from Mom. We didn't raise you to be selfish. I know you'll do the right thing once you calm down. 3 dots. Another one. Put yourself in your sister's shoes. She's always been more sensitive than you. You're stronger, Em. You can handle a little inconvenience. There it was again. You're stronger. You can handle it. I thought about all the little inconveniences I'd handled over the years. The semester Vanessa dropped out of her science classes because she was overwhelmed, and my parents pulled from my college fund to pay for her extra tutoring. The time she crashed my car in high school because she didn't see the stop sign, and my parents used my savings account to cover the deductible, saying, "You'll earn it back, honey. Your sister would fall apart if we put this on her." The Christmas, my parents spent $500 on a designer handbag for Vanessa and handed me a $50 Visa gift card, explaining, "She needs to look the part for her job, Em. You work in an office. You can dress however." I'd forgiven each one, filed them away, told myself I was taking the high road. But sitting in that car, age 33, with my savings finally past the one emergency away from disaster mark, I realized something. My high road was just a road they'd paved with my sacrifices. I went upstairs, dropped my bag on the couch, and did something I'd never done before. I opened my laptop, pulled up my online banking, and looked at my accounts like they belonged to a stranger. Checking, savings, 401k, Roth IRA, line after line of amounts that represented early mornings, late nights, saying no to vacations I couldn't afford, saying yes to double shifts, buying store brand everything. Then I grabbed a sticky note and wrote, in big block letters, "This is not collateral for other people's bad decisions." I stuck it directly on the screen. Then I opened a new document and titled it, "Boundaries, Non-Negotiable." I typed, 1. I will not co-sign loans for Vanessa or my parents. 2. I will not let Vanessa move into my home. 3. I will not use my savings to temporarily cover their legal problems. 4. I will not let them guilt trip me with "you're stronger" or "you don't need much." 5. I will not discuss my finances with them at all. I stared at the list, fully expecting to feel like a monster. Instead, I felt lighter. Scared, yes, but also like I'd finally put words to something that had been stuck in my throat for years. I took a photo of the list and set it as my phone lock screen. Then I texted my parents, fingers trembling. "Emily, I'm not able to house Vanessa or co-sign any loans. I hope you find a solution that doesn't involve me. I'm going to be stepping back for a while. Please don't contact me about money." I watched the 3 dots appear, disappear, Reappear. My mom's reply came in a flood. I can't believe you're doing this when your sister is at her lowest. We gave you everything. Vanessa would help you if the roles were reversed. I locked my phone, put it face down on the table, and just like that, my revenge began. Not a dramatic blow-up, not a screaming match, just a firm, quiet refusal to be the life raft. 6. Plan. Revenge by refusal. Revenge, when you grow up in a guilt-based family, isn't slashing tires or airing dirty laundry on Facebook. It's breaking the pattern they built their whole lives around. Over the next few weeks, I put my boundaries document into action, like it was a treatment plan for a very persistent disease. First, I called my HR department and bumped my 401k contribution up by 2%. It was a petty little move, but it felt symbolic, like I was redirecting money from family emergencies to future me. Then I called my therapist. Yes, my therapist. I'm the cliché millennial with a therapist and a favorite Trader Joe's snack. I finally told them no, I said, curling my feet under me on the couch. They want me to fix everything, like always. I said no. She smiled, that soft, proud therapist smile they must teach in grad school. How does it feel? She asked. Like I've swallowed a brick, I admitted, and also like I can breathe for the first time. We talked about guilt, about obligation, about how families like mine dress up exploitation as love. You may need to grieve the fantasy family you wish you had, she said gently, the version where your parents see both daughters clearly and treat both of you fairly. The real revenge, Emily, is building a life where you don't need their approval at all. Real revenge. I mulled that over on my drive home, in the grocery store, while loading my dishwasher. Meanwhile, my parents escalated. My mom left voicemails, her voice alternating between tearful and furious. Your sister is sleeping in your old room, she said in one message. We can't support her forever, Emily. At least come talk to her. You don't know what she's going through. My dad sent a long, formal text like he was writing legal briefs. I'm disappointed in your attitude. We're not asking you to sacrifice your life, just to help temporarily. You're blowing this out of proportion. Vanessa ventured one message. You've always been jealous. This just proves it. Enjoy your little life. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I did something radical. I invested in my little life. I joined a yoga studio near my apartment and actually went. I started meal prepping on Sundays, not because of some TikTok trend, but because I wanted my weekdays to feel easier. I swiped right on a guy named Daniel on Hinge, and for the first time in forever, I didn't feel compelled to tell my parents about it. A month after the scandal broke, my mom called from a new number. I only picked up because I thought it might be work. There you are, she said without even saying hello. Your father says I shouldn't be calling from my work phone, but what choice do I have when my own daughter ignores her family? I inhaled slowly through my nose. I asked you not to contact me about money, I said. Oh, we're past money, she snapped. We're talking about basic human decency now. Your sister. She is a grown woman who chose to tie her life to a man under investigation for fraud, I interrupted. I'm not the one who did that. My mom's voice dropped to that dangerous whisper. We all make mistakes, Emily. Some of us have families who help us fix them. And some of us have families who only call when they need something, I replied. There was a beat of silence. You've always been so cold, she said finally. So practical. The least you could do is help with the lawyers. You make good money for someone your age. You don't even have children to think about. I'm thinking about a child, I said. Me. The child you raised to believe she wasn't worth as much as her sister. I'm done paying the interest on that lie. I hung up, blocked the new number. Every time I did something like that, I expected the sky to fall, but it didn't. Instead, something else happened. I started sleeping through the night. 7. Reward and karma. When the golden child falls and you don't catch her. Here's the thing about people who've never had to face consequences. When they finally do, they flail. Hard. From what I heard through the grapevine, because I unfollowed all of them on social media. Vanessa's life unraveled in slow motion. The house went first. Ethan's assets stayed frozen, and the mortgage company didn't care about image management. They cared about payments. The Range Rover disappeared from her Instagram stories, replaced by cryptic quotes about starting over and finding out who shows up for you in the storm. Her influencer sponsorships dried up. Brands quietly cut ties when her name started showing up in memes about sugar babies of scammers. She moved back into my parents' house, into my old room, complete with my faded high school posters and the creaky twin bed. My mom rearranged the whole house for her, trying to make it comfortable. She's not used to living like this, she lamented to my aunt on speakerphone one afternoon, not realizing I was in the background at my own apartment. On a different call with my aunt later. Meanwhile, my life didn't implode. I kept going to work. I got a raise after successfully mediating a particularly messy custody case. My boss started copying me on emails about grant proposals. Daniel turned out to be kind, emotionally intelligent, and boring in the best way. He worked in IT for a hospital system, liked board games and weekend farmers markets. On our 4th date, over tacos and margaritas, I told him a sanitized version of my family drama. My sister made some really bad choices, I said. My parents want me to rescue her. I'm not doing that. He didn't call me cruel. He didn't tell me to suck it up because they're your family. He just nodded. Sounds like you've been the family safety net for a long time, he said. Maybe it's time they find out what happens when the net isn't there. Around that time, my parents tried a new tactic, extended family. My aunt called one Saturday. Your mother's beside herself, she said. She says you're refusing to help. Is that true? I took a breath. It is, I said. I'm not co-signing anything or letting Vanessa move in. I love you, Aunt Claire, but I'm not going to debate this. To my surprise, she didn't scold me. Good, she said. About time someone in this family learned how to say no to your mother. I almost dropped my phone. Over the next few months, the karma tour continued. Ethan took a plea deal. No jail time, but heavy fines and a 10-year ban from certain financial activities. Their assets were gutted. Vanessa went on a podcast trying to tell her side, but it backfired when the host asked why she never questioned how a self-made man had that much cash for Birkin bags and private jets. The clip went viral on TikTok, not in the supportive way. My mom developed a martyr complex. Every Facebook post was about standing by your children no matter what, and other people not understanding unconditional love. Friends would send me screenshots. Is she subtweeting you? They'd ask. Probably. But here's the thing. Every time they posted dramatics online, every time they told another relative how cold I'd been, my life stayed exactly the same. I still had my apartment, my savings, my job, my quiet little routines that no one applauded but me. That was my reward. Stability they couldn't drag me out of. The real gotcha moment came about a year after the scandal broke. I was at my desk working on a case file when my phone rang with an unknown Ohio number. I let it go to voicemail. Later, at lunch, I listened. It's me. Vanessa. I paused the message, my heart doing a weird stutter step, then hit play again. I know you probably won't pick up, she said. Her voice sounded smaller, rougher than I remembered. I don't know who else to call. There was a shaky breath. Mom and Dad are drowning, she confessed. They took out a second mortgage to help with the lawyers. The house might go. I can't find a job that pays more than minimum wage because every time people Google me, those articles come up. Ethan, he's in Florida now, starting over, without me. She sniffled. I thought I was above all this, she said. I thought I was special. You tried to warn me, and I brushed you off. I'm sorry. I really am. I know I don't have the right to ask, but can I stay with you? Just for a while. Get back on my feet. I won't be a burden, I promise. There it was. The moment my entire childhood had trained me for. The moment they all assumed I'd cave. That night, after work, I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of chamomile tea and played the voicemail again. Then I opened my laptop and pulled up that boundaries document. Nothing had changed. She was still a grown woman. Our parents were still making reckless choices. My life was still my own. I dialed her number. She answered on the first ring. "Em?" she said, like she couldn't believe I'd actually called. "Hey," I said, voice steady. "I got your message." Silence. Then a rush of words. "I know I don't deserve it," she babbled, "but I swear I'll get a job. I'll pay rent. Vanessa," I interrupted gently, "I'm not going to be able to have you stay with me." Dead quiet. "What?" she whispered. "I hope you find support," I said. "Truly. Maybe there are programs. Maybe Aunt Claire can help. But my apartment is my safe space. I won't bring our childhood dynamic into it." Her voice sharpened. "So you're really just standing by while your own sister ruins her life?" I let out a breath. "You ruined your life," I said calmly, "with the choices you made. I'm just refusing to ruin mine along with you." She cursed, called me heartless, told me I'd die alone. Then she hung up. I sat there for a long time, staring at my tea, feeling the old guilt claw at my chest, and then slowly it faded. In its place was a strange, quiet certainty. I had finally done the one thing no one in my family thought I was capable of. I had chosen me. 8. New life and message. I am not your lifeboat. It's been 2 years since the scandal and that voicemail. My parents did lose the house. They downsized to a less glamorous neighborhood, one with fewer HOA fees and more foreclosure signs. Vanessa bounced around. Friends' couches, short-term rentals, a disastrous attempt at selling wellness supplements on Instagram. She finally got a job as a receptionist at a salon, which she complained about on a Finsta account that still somehow went semi-viral. Occasionally, someone sends me a screenshot. "Is this your sister?" they ask. I just shrug. I'm not her PR team. As for me, I'm still in Columbus, still in my little apartment. Though now there's a golden retriever named Moose snoring on the rug and Daniel's favorite mug next to mine in the dish rack. We moved slowly, on purpose. We talked about money and boundaries and what support actually looks like. Last month, he proposed in the world's least Instagrammable way, on my couch, in sweatpants, with takeout containers on the coffee table. The ring is simple. My mom doesn't know yet. When we talk about the wedding, I feel zero pressure to invite people who don't actually show up for me emotionally. I'm not planning some vineyard event to impress anyone. If we get married in someone's backyard with Costco flowers and a Spotify playlist, I'll be perfectly happy. My revenge never involved ruining my sister. Life, choices, and the legal system handled that just fine. My revenge was in finally refusing to be their plan B, their backup generator, their secret emergency fund. It was in understanding this one truth. I am not the lifeboat for people who drilled holes in their own ship. If you're listening to this and seeing your own family in mine, you, the strong one, the stable one, the one everyone assumes will bounce back, I want you to hear me. You are allowed to step out of the role they cast you in. You are allowed to protect the life you've built. You are allowed to let other people sit in the mess they made. It doesn't make you cruel. It makes you free. So tell me, if your perfect sibling's image shattered tomorrow and your family finally remembered how much they need you, would you jump in to save them? Or would you, like me, finally let the ocean show them how deep the water really is?